This is the vlog for July 2nd, and in getting into the spirit of the 4th of July, the American celebration of independence, I've decided to play the most Japanese video game series of all time, or at least a prequel game. I think I might have mentioned yesterday that I watched a very interesting video analysis of the Yakuza series by Super Eye Patch Wolf. I didn't actually get to play the game last night because I went to bed and went to bed pretty early. Today is the first day in quite some time I didn't take a nap in the middle of the day, and I've been quite tired and might go to bed kind of early tonight in comparison, depending on how my evening goes. But I did end up playing quite a bit of Yakuza today, and it is remarkable. I am not the kind of person that gets really swept up into a lot of mini games in games. I am not somebody who wants to do every single side activity in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, although admittedly there are overall fewer things you can do in that game than some other open world games. I'm not somebody that will sit there and do the fishing mini game in whatever, main game until I've collected every single fish in the game and gotten the special shining fishing pole that allows you to catch any fish with fewer whatever, because I don't like fishing. I've actually done it in real life. And the only thing I liked about it is that I got to spend time with my grandpa when we did it. But the actual act of fishing is boring when it's not disgusting. And you can dress it up all you like in a video game and make it, have to press a button a lot to reel in. How many games are going to use that as a mechanic, by the way? Where you hook a fish and then you have to jam on the button to reel it in? Like, is there nothing else that we can come up with to create the act? I'm getting off topic here. I'm not somebody that goes gaga over mini games, and Yakuza definitely has a lot of its development put into these mini games, and sometimes not, because and this is just exactly the kind of game it is, because today Kiryu, the main character, Kazuma Kiryu, he actually, I guess it would be Kiryu Kazuma, because that's how everybody calls him Kiryu, but that's actually his last name. He took his first name from his dad, his adopted father, which is kind of weird. But anyway, oh no, his adopted father is Kazuma. His name is Kiryu Kazuma. Anyway, again, I'm getting off topic. But that's exactly what the game did, or what I did in the game, because he was expelled from the Yakuza. I've been playing the game for 3 hours, and I've already gotten kicked out of the Yakuza. I'm great at this. And so, in the lowest point of Kiryu's entire life, the only thing that he's ever wanted to be was a Yakuza man who got things done, was respected as a pillar of the community, because that's the warped vision of the Yakuza that he has. But given his background, I don't really blame him. He's been expelled, and it's with a heavy heart that he decides to tell his best friend that he's still alive, but is no longer his brother in the family. And it's been raining, and it's night. Night has fallen on the district where he's been making his living all these years, and it's, the game is like, you need to go and tell Nishiki what's going on, and I'm like, yes, that's my Space Harrier. So then I went and played 100 yen's worth. That kind of drove me to think for a second, because the game itself was set in 1988. In 88, games were still mostly a quarter. Sometimes they were 50 cents at the airport, where they knew they could get you. But in the arcades and malls, most games were still a quarter in 88. I remember. Has it been the case that in Japan they've been 100 yen coins for that long, or is it just 100 is a much easier number to sort of keep track of in the system? I feel like it should be 25 yen. I feel like a play of Space Harrier in 1988 should be 25 yen, except it's probably a Yakuza Run arcade, so they're overcharging to pay off the Yakuza. That actually makes a lot of sense. But then, if that's the case, if you're a member of the Yakuza, you should be able to play. Except at that point, I wasn't. Oh, this game is genius. You're not a member of the Yakuza, so they're charging you more to pay off the Yakuza that you're no longer a part of. So, I don't play a lot of minigames. And that's okay, because even though I'm normally not a big fan of story in games, the manner in which the story is told in these games is so compelling. You really they just dangle little bits of information, and I love procedural storytelling shows, detective stories. Even this isn't a detective story theoretically, because it's a member of an organized crime ring trying to prove his innocence, but he is trying to prove his innocence, and he needs proof. But there's some weird conspiracy that's building, and Kiryu, being a street level enforcer, solves this mystery by going around and beating people up. But the system for going around and beating people up is actually pretty robust and actually a lot of fun. I admittedly died a few times infiltrating I say infiltrate, but what I mean is go to the Yakuza main building in the district and beat up everybody inside until I got to one of the lieutenants, died to him twice, and then finally beat him, and then watched the poor schlep cut his own pinky off for failing in a horrendously hard to watch cutscene that didn't actually show the actual act, but it was so wonderfully directed that I was just like, and the sound, oh god. These guys know how to make a game. I mean, they know how to make a movie. If they made a Yakuza series of films or a TV show, I'd be all over that. Are you kidding me? It is a lot of fun, and I'm glad I picked it up, because I think I'm probably going to be able to finish it, hopefully, this week, in case I go back to work on Monday, although that's starting to look unlikely. I called work today and got a machine. I let them know that I'm ready to go back, but given that it's the holiday weekend, that's going to interrupt with a lot of scheduling for stuff like drug tests. So I just might have to end up taking next week. I mean, it's not up to me. They may just say there's nothing right now, and we'll give you a call as soon as an opening opens. But health-wise, if you can't already tell, I'm doing a lot better. I've still had cramps and a bit of nausea throughout the day, but my appetite is nearly back to normal. And I haven't weighed myself. I'm probably gaining a few more pounds. I'm a little hesitant to try going for a walk until I really do feel just 100%. When I took aerobics in college, my aerobics instructor said the worst thing you can possibly try and do while recovering from sickness or injury is exercise, unless your doctor specifically says to do specific exercises, and that's usually only in the case of recovering from an injury. If you're sick, stay home and get better before you go out and start doing any kind of exercise. Exercising a sick body is putting more taxation, more stress on an already stressed system, and that can lead to very serious problems. So there's my little minor bit of medical advice. If you don't believe me, ask a doctor. But yeah, so that was my day. All things considered, pretty enjoyable. Ironically, the building guys came in, worked today, and are taking the rest of the week off for the holiday, which is sort of fine. It means I've got 4 more days of, technically 6 days of quiet before they resume on next Monday. So, I'm going to sleep well tonight. I'm Eric Spornitz, and tomorrow will be better.